Hi everyone, on this episode we're going to be talking about hunting lights, and in particular, wicked hunting lights. Welcome to the Night Vision Show. Hi everybody, so on this episode we're going to be having a look at wicked hunting lights. Now these are a new range of lamps, torches, hunting lights, whatever you want to call them, distributed in the UK by Scott Country International. And we're going to be taking a look at a couple of the packages that are available, see what you get and find out if they're any good. So if you've been shooting a while, particularly at night time, then you'll have had need of a lamp at some point in your shooting life, I've no doubt. And technology has moved on so much in the last few years. I remember when I started lamping, we would carry around a big lamp like that, about as big as your face. You needed a lamp man to operate it. They had to carry a huge 12-volt battery strapped to them as well. And it was all quite a cumbersome affair. And I've no doubt that there are still some of you guys who are still happily lamping away just like that, and more power to you for that. Nice to keep it old school. So over the last few years, we've seen a real advance in LED technology, from the early offerings from tracer, things like that, where maybe it wasn't particularly bright, but it was certainly more efficient and it lasted longer. Lithium batteries helped, right up to more recently with handheld torches that have just got a single Cree LED, and they're powerful out to 800 yards or so, something like that. Now in the early days, if you wanted to change the colour of your light, you had to put a filter on, and by covering the light in any way, shape or form, you are reducing its potential power, so your light doesn't go as far. So I remember the days, my very first LED hunting light, which was about that big, popped on the top of the gun with quite a cumbersome sort of rig that went with it. If I wanted to change the colour of that, I had to put on a flip-up filter, and I had a red one, a green one, I think I had a yellow one and a blue one. I think blue never got used. But ultimately, the white light was brilliant. So when you turned it right up, you could see far enough, but as soon as you flipped up that filter, you're effectively putting a cover on the light, and it cut it down by half, and that was really quite annoying. So more recently, handheld torches have been made available with interchangeable LEDs. So you buy your lamp, and then you buy additional LEDs that either pop in, pop out, or they attach to different sections of the torch and you have to put it all back together again. Still better, but still not massively convenient. So I will confess that to me, lamps, torches, lights, they're not the most exciting thing in the world. They are a necessity, and they kind of need to only do one thing. They need to produce a beam of light that you can see clearly through your scope and allow you to identify and shoot at whatever it is you're looking at. So when I heard there was a new range of hunting lights coming onto the market, I treated it like I do with every other hunting light that comes out. Okay, so what's different about this one? Well, this one is different, and I'm going to show you exactly why that is. So the wicked hunting light range available in the UK at the moment consists of two different kits you can get. So this one here is the A67iC. It's a 3-in-1 colour LED hunting light, and the one on the far side there, the A51iR. So it's again a 3-in-1 LED light, 2 IR lights and 1 red light. So let's have a look at them one by one and see what you get. Once you bought your wicked light and you've had it delivered, the first thing that you're going to see when you open the box is this. It's the padded case that all your kit comes in. And actually it's really nice. It's branded with a Wicked Lights logo, and it's actually a really nice, conveniently sized, nice heavy duty case. So let's have a look and see what you get inside. So, got our instructions. We've got this rubber halo shield, which pops on the front of the lamp to reduce the spill of the beam. Quite good to avoid reflections off moderators, things like that. We've got a 12-volt power adapter, a little wrist strap there as well. We've got one tail switch there. So let's have a look at this. So this tail switch here screws into the back of the light, and it gives you full control over your light, exactly as you would if you didn't have it on. You're just using the switch on the tail cap. So you can turn it on and off, and also adjust the brightness as well. Comes with an elasticated strap, so you can put it over your fore end or wherever you want to mount it. It also comes with Velcro as well, so you can sort of almost semi-permanently fix it on there. So there's also a couple of boxes here. This little box contains a ring to attach to your scope. So much like a scope ring, it has a little Picatinny rail over the top, so you can just mount the torch onto that. And then this larger box here contains a battery charger. It also comes with two 18650 batteries. The light itself only takes the one, but the fact that you get batteries included and a charger for those batteries is really good in the first place. And then finally, you get the light itself. Now this one is already mounted onto its scope mount, and I'll show you more detail about that. So this is the A67iC 3-in-1 LED illuminator light torch. It's not massively heavy, which is quite nice. It's all metal. I can't see, no, genuinely can't see a single plastic piece on here at all. It feels really, really solid. So starting at the back, then you've got your tail cap, which is a simple press on and press off for turning it on and off, with also integrated dimmer switch as well. And I remember going back to what I was saying earlier about how technology has moved on, that even up till quite recently, it was quite hard to get an LED light that actually dimmed. So the fact that this is all being included now, it is really nice. But there we go. So the tail cap screws off. And again, do you know what? With this, the threads buttery smooth. There's no roughness when you're undoing it. Just a sign of good workmanship. And then obviously your battery just slips in there, and it's a single 18650, as I say. So moving further forwards, then we have this switch here, and then of course your lens and your LEDs, etc. So this is a 3-in-1 colour LED illuminator. There's no filters here. It's not like inside there's a load of filters rotating to change the colour of your light. This one has got 3 LEDs inside of it that all change as you rotate this switch. So if we look closely on the switch, we can see that it's got a R, G and W, standing for red, green and white. And if we just move the switch, it rotates the LEDs into position so we can change colours on the fly. So here we go. Hope you can see that all right. It's probably blinding the hell out of you. So that's green. We switch it to red and then to white. So on the tail cap, we put it back to red. On the tail cap, we have the dimmer. So dim it right down and right up, and then the off switch. It's really simple to use. Now, when you're shooting at night, the last thing you need to be worrying about is where things are on a torch, where bits of kit are, what things are doing. When you've got a simple on-off switch and a straightforward, really positive clicks switch here to change the colour, then you can't really go far wrong. Now let's have a look at this mount. So this is labelled as the Wicked Lights Gen 3. I haven't seen the Gen 1 and 2, so I don't know what they're like. But what I can say about this mount is it is solid. It is all metal. It's fully adjustable for windage and elevation. And let me tell you, if you haven't shot with a light on your gun before, you will never understand how important it is to have your beam lined up perfectly with your scope. If you try and shoot without lining your beam up, clearly when you move your gun onto your target, then your light's pointing somewhere else, and that's not really very useful at all. Obviously, if you're using this handheld, you've got a lamp man with you, then you haven't got to worry about this. But if you're going to attach it to your rifle, that's what you need. Now, it's adjusted through these dials here. So one on the side, one at the back. And once you've got it mounted onto your gun itself, you just simply start moving it around and it will just adjust up, down, left, right until you get it pointing exactly where it needs to be. It's mounted through a Picatinny system, so you get in, as I said earlier, you get your scope mount here if you've got a traditional scope mount, but obviously if you're using night vision or something with a Picatinny rail already attached, you can attach it there. Now again, it's a really positive thing. You attach it to your Picatinny rail, you move the quick release lever to lock position and it stays there. It is totally solid. If it's a little bit loose, you tighten it up with this little knob here. But do you know what? It does exactly what it's meant to do, which is really, really handy. So that's it. That's the A67iC. Let's have a look at the A51iR. So the kit is the same. It comes in the same padded bag, which is again very, very nice. And inside we get our instructions, a Wicked Light sticker, our tail cap, switch, case for the batteries, scope mount ring, charger, our halo shield, which in this case is branded, and the A51iR itself. Now the only difference here externally is the size of the lens. So whereas that one, the A67, is bigger, the A51 is smaller. The only other difference is this has got 3 LEDs, but these ones are infrared and red. 2 infrared, 1 red. Why do you need 2 infrared LEDs, you might ask? Well, this one's got an 850 nm wavelength IR and a 950 nm wavelength IR. The 850 is fantastic for long range stuff. It's a longer beam. It's not quite as clear as a 940, but it does take you further in terms of what you can see. The only downside to 850 nm is that it emits a visible red light. So it's not as bright as putting the actual red LED on there, but you can still see it. So if you were doing covert security stuff, then you might need to use the different LED. But equally, if you're shooting in an area where animals might get spooked by a dim glow of a red light, then you have the option to switch to your 940 nm IR. Now this is fantastic for short to moderate range stuff. It's arguably got clearer image qualities when you're looking at what you're seeing in the scope, but it doesn't go as far. So there's a trade-off between the two, but the beauty of this is you don't have to choose. All you need to do is just switch the switch when you want to change the IR. Top tip for this particular light: when you finish shooting, switch it to red. If you've been shooting with the 940 IR and you leave it on, there is no way you will know until you come back to it the next time and the battery is flat. If you switch it to red, you will know whether it's on or not. So that's the A51iR, very similar in most respects to the A67iC, apart from the size and the fact it's got infrared lights. This is absolutely fantastic for digital night vision and for image intensified tube night vision. So I've been using this on my Pulsar Digisight N355 Ultra, both IRs on it for short range stuff and long range stuff, plus also the red light, which is still visible using the digital night vision. And let me tell you, this, it's absolutely fantastic. It's really, really good. You can see so far with it. We went out the other night with it. We put the IR onto a gate to see if we could see it in pitch black. Using the Digisight, we could make it out clearly, we could focus on it. If there had been an animal at the bottom of that gate, we'd have seen it. And we used our rangefinder to test the range of that gate, and it was 450 yards. So the manufacturers will tell you what the suggested ranges are for these things, but real life tests for me, I'm happy that I could identify something 300 to 400 yards, no problem at all. And the beam was visible well beyond that as well. So for such a small, lightweight package, really well priced, you can't go far wrong with either of these. So if you're a traditional lamper, go with the A67iC. If you're into night vision, go with the A51iR. You can't go wrong with either. Unusually in this market, the IR here doesn't command a premium. The prices are the same. You can't go wrong with either, believe me. So my final thoughts on Wicked lights. I talked earlier about technology, how it moves on. And you know, we can all expect that over time lights get brighter, more powerful, they're lighter, they come in smaller packages, things like that. We can all anticipate that. But the ability to change your LEDs on the fly is a real advance for me. As I said earlier, I don't get that excited about torches, but this one is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. For me, it does what it needs to do, no more, no less. And that's what the most important thing is when you're buying kit for shooting. Something that works, something that just does what it needs to do. You put it on your rifle, you go out and you just get on with it. That's what it needs and that's what it does. So I hope you found that useful and giving you an insight into the Wicked hunting light range available here in the UK. If you want to find out more about it, head over to the UK distributors page, which is scottcountry.co.uk. If you want to find out more about Wicked hunting lights generally, wickedhuntinglights.com have got all the information there about the business, their company, what they're all about, and more of their range as well. If you've got any questions about the range or the actual lights themselves, drop us a comment below. More than happy to answer them if we can. And we will see you again next time.